Hey, my friends. Welcome to the Dallas Daily Show, coming at you from the Neighborhood Loans studio here in St. Louis, Missouri. Today's topic is muddy roots. All right, let's get into the conversation. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. We've been talking this whole week about this idea of, in our positive play call, I have a choice to continue, has been our positive play call. And it really has to do with persistence, right? We're in springtime. And here in the Midwest, even right now, Taylor and I, producer Taylor, we can hear the rain on the roof as we're going in. Hopefully it's not picking up on the microphone. I don't think it is, Taylor. But we're in springtime here in the Midwest, and things are starting to grow. Grass is starting to get greener. All right, going to have to start mowing the lawn a little more frequently. Let's be honest, my 15-year-old does it now. I got him a riding lawnmower just so I didn't have to do it anymore, Taylor. It's awesome. But I have to remind him every week, please use the weed eater. Please use the trimmer. Please make it look pretty and don't just run the rider into the ground. So working with some plants recently, saw, I was thinking as we're watching these plants kind of grow up, and all of us love the beauty of what we see, right? But the seed starts in the darkness, and it sits down in it, and then it splits open, and then the roots grow, and then eventually the seedling comes up through the earth. And I am no botanist, but we all kind of know how a seed processes and progresses, right? But I started to think about these roots because we had some stuff we had to move, and like the roots were all muddy, and they require a lot of rain as well, which is great. We're getting the rain. But I just started thinking about the growth process, because so many of us want the flower atop, and we want the world to see the results or the fruit of what we're doing. But a lot of us aren't willing to sit in the root, the mud, right? We don't want the muddy results, but the muddy results, the rainy results, that actually is what gives us the fruit. That's what actually gives us the blossom. That's what actually gives us the bloom. But so many of us complain through the mud process. So many of us complain through, man, I'm just in a rainy season of life. What if we began to welcome the rain? What if we began to welcome the mess of the mud? What if in our world we actually began to say, oh, I actually love the process of this? See, so many of us curse our way through the process. And then finally we're like, oh, finally I get the results, I get the sunshine, I get the glow. But what would happen if in seed form, in root form, in the mud, in the rain, in the muck, if we actually began to love the process? You know, we started this week with this episode of we have a choice at mile 2. We have a choice to continue. Many of us pull ourselves out of the mud a little too early, or we ask someone to pull us out of the mud. We say, hey, friend, can you help pull me out of this? I don't want to be in this circumstance. People of faith, they'll say, God, will you pull me out of? Will you rescue me from this situation? Not thinking, no, this might be the place. Doing the work in the darkness might be the place where you're growing richer, where you're growing deeper, where you're growing down. See, we all want to shoot up, but the strongest things have the deepest roots. So I just want to encourage you. I really felt compelled that we needed a little encouragement today to love the muddy in your life, to love the dark places in your life, to love, if you're in a rainy season, to embrace it, because you are growing deeper, you're growing stronger, and you won't just be a little shoot that can be easily pulled. You're going to be strongly rooted with beautiful fruit, my friend. So love the muddy roots. You have a choice to continue, though, right? That's our positive play call for this entire week. I have a choice to continue. If you don't have your positive play call cards, get them on the website. They're just simple little things that you can use as bookmarks, or you can tape them on a thing. And it might be the place where, let's say you've struggled to do the workouts frequent or consistently. Let's say you've struggled to eat well consistently. Let's say you haven't enjoyed the process, let's say, of, I'd rather eat from the cabinet than from the fresh fruit bowl, right? Maybe you put that on the cabinet for the week and you stick it up. I have a choice to continue. You could pull yourself out of the mud where you're rooting into health, you're rooting into those relationships. You could pull yourself out of it at any point. It's totally fine. Or you have a choice to continue and actually to move forward toward a trajectory of a future you. See, one, just like we talked about on the MindSHIFT episode yesterday, one could be compartmentalization. It could be short-term reward. Yes, you will be relieved from the mud, or yes, you will be relieved or sheltered from the rain, but will you grow as deep as you want to? Will you have as much fruit on the other side of it? You have a choice to continue, my friend. So that's all I got for you today. Choose. Will you pull yourself out of the situations that you're struggling with right now, or will you dig deep into the mud, allow the rains of life to pour over you, knowing that it's deepening who you are? All right, my friends, go out there and have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to dallasdailyshow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.